Hello all. In today's video, we shall discuss about the data cleaning. Uh, Before we train the model, first of all, we have to convert the whole data to the numerical format. Okay, first let's see our data. Now, if you want to see top 20 records, you can see like this. Now, this is the whole random data which I have created for this video. Okay, now let's start doing the data cleaning. Now, for me, I don't want these two columns. Now let's see how can I drop these two columns. Now just you copy this column name, paste over here, copy this column name, paste over here. Okay, now I have added implicit is equal to true. Now what's exactly this line of code is doing is like we are dropping these two columns and as well as we are replacing this whole data frame. Okay, now let's see. Now I want to see top 4 records. Now see these two columns have been deleted. Now if you see in the salary, okay, what's in the salary, if you see for every record we do have a salary, 25,000 salary, 35,000 salary, 1 lakh salary, null. So salary is present almost in every value, but we don't want that. We want to replace that with some empty string. So how we can do that? That we shall see now. Copy this column name. Okay, now what we are doing is we are replacing. Now we have to replace this whole salary with empty string. Now let me replace that with this. Okay, now let me replace. Now let's see tail, in the sense we are going to see last 5 records. Now the salary has been removed, that means it has been replaced with the empty string. Now in the salary, if you see one more thing, we do have 1000, 90,000, 90,000, 1 lakh. Okay, we are getting like this, but what we have to do, we have to convert even this to a number, right? So for that, let's write a function. You can add any name as you wish. If 1000 is present inside the, okay, now I got the auto suggestion. I'm accepting this, but I will explain you what is this. Okay, now what's happening over here is like we are checking if 1000 is present inside this value. Okay, now first of all, what we are doing, first of all we are doing this 1000 to the empty. That means we are replacing this 1000 to the empty and we are converting that to the float. Then later we are multiplying with the 1000. That means now it will become as like 90,000. In the same way for the lakh, if the lakh value is present inside the value, then we are replacing that lakh with the empty string, then we are converting that to a float, then we are multiplying with the lakh, so it will become 50 lakhs. Okay, now let's apply this function. Let me copy this whole. Okay, now I got the auto suggestion, I'm accepting. Now what will happen over here is, now for this salary we are using this function. Okay, now for the first record what will happen, this record first it will go inside this individual value, then that comes here and it's checked in this value whether the 1000 is present or not. If 1000 is present, it is going to return this. Okay, or else it goes to this. Now once again after completion of this, it goes to the second value again. Okay, 50,000 individual value, inside this individual value 50,000 will come, and it checks this function and it returns the value. Okay, this will happen for each and every value in the salary column. Okay. Okay, now we are facing the issue. Let me explain you why we are facing the issue. First of all, let me show you the whole data. Now in the whole data you can see like there is some null values. Okay, so whenever we are trying to use this kind of conditions for this null values, it is throwing the error. So first of all what we have to do, we have to convert this whole thing to a string. That means even this will get converted to a string, so at that time this issue will not occur. So for that, first of all let's convert that to a string. Okay, I got auto suggestion, I have taken. Now what this is doing, it is converting to a integer, but I want that to be a string, so I am adding str. Now the whole data has been converted to a string. Now let's add this function. Okay, now let's check the data. See, now whole data has been converted as the way we required. Okay, now let's do the label encoding. Okay, now first of all let me explain you what's this label encoding. Now we can do the label encoding for the this role. That means we do have certain types, like this is a developer type, this is a data scientist type, this is a gen I type, this is a data scientist, this is a data scientist, this is a null value developer. Okay, we do have certain types. Okay, now for every type we're going to assign some random number. Okay, with the help of the label encoder. Now first of all let's import the label encoder. Okay, let me copy this. Let me call. Okay, now we have to implement this label encoder for the role, right? So let's add that column. Now we are transferring that whole data. Okay, now with the help of this line of code, what we are doing, we are transferring this whole data to the numerical format. Even this null is going to have one specific number. Now let's see the data. Okay, now if you see the whole this data has been converted to the numerical. That means for every type a random number has been assigned. Okay, now for example if you want to check null, where is null is present in any of the column, then we can add this code. Okay, with the help of this code we can check. Okay, right now in the salary we do have one null, and in roles we don't have any null value, and in employee marks we do have null. For example, if you do have 30 nulls, then you're going to have the 30 number. Okay, now in the same way if you want to see in the percentage wise, that as well you can do, like this is the percentage wise you can get the nulls. Okay, now we shall handle these nulls. Now first of all, let's handle the null values of the employee marks. Okay, what we want to do with this null value is, we don't want to delete this null, but instead we want to take the average. Okay, now how we can do that, that we shall see. Now we want to replace the null with the average value. So first of all, let's add this. Okay, now I got the auto suggestion I have taken. Now here what we are doing is, we are filling the null values. Okay, now with the average, this is the this is the code for it. Okay, now let's see. Now if you see, there is no null, but instead it has been replaced with the average value. Now let's recheck whether do we have any nulls or not. Let me copy paste this code. Okay, we don't have any null values in the employee marks, but we do have null in the salary. Now for example, if I want to delete this old record, okay, how many nulls are present, I want to remove all those at once. Okay, for that, this is the code. With the help of this, how many nulls are present in our whole record, that whole will be deleted. Now let's recheck. Okay, now we don't have any nulls. Okay, now, okay, now as this is our data. Okay, first let's check, do we have any outliers in this data. So for that, what we have to do, we have to use the box plot. So for, let's import the box plot. Okay, let's copy this matplotlib. Okay, now inside this, let's go and okay, we do have over here, let's copy this. You can close this now. Okay, instead of this, now in which column we want to see, we want to see in the salary, do we have any uh, outliers or not. Okay, first let's check inside this. Okay, now in the salary we do have outliers. Okay, these circles are nothing but the outliers. Now let's see in the role. Now in the role we don't have any outliers. Now let's see in the employee marks. Now in the employee marks as well, we do have the outliers. So let me show you how we can remove these outliers. Okay, for that we can use the formula related to the IQR. Okay, now first of all, let me show you one more thing. Okay, this is the 25th percentile, 50th percentile, 75th percentile, max. Okay, these are the values related to that. This is the mean for this salary, uh, role, employee marks. Okay, now what we should do is, first of all we have to get the 25th percentile. Okay, okay, to get 25th percentile, you can use, okay, I'm getting some auto suggestion. Let me take that. I will explain you once again. Now I have taken what 25th value, 25th percentile value for this employee marks, in 75th percentile value for this uh, employee marks. Okay, now let me run this. Okay, we are minusing. Now let's get the minimum data. Once after completion of the code, you can understand clearly like what's exactly happening over here. Okay, this is one more data. Over here we are getting the minimum data, and over here we are getting the maximum data. Okay, now everything is set. We do have the minimum data, and here we do have the maximum data. Now how we can remove the outlier is, whatever the data which is in between this minimum data and the maximum data, that is the real data. But the data which is lesser than this minimum data, that is considered as like an outlier, or else the data which is more than this maximum data, that as well considered as like outlier. Now let's get only the data which is in between this, and let's remove rest of the part. Now for that, let's add this code. Okay, now I'm getting some auto suggestion. Let me check. Okay, in employee marks mag, this should be greater than the minimum data, and as well employee marks should be less than the maximum data. Yes, obviously this is what we required. Now in short, what we are doing is nothing but the same thing what just now I have explained. We are taking the between data inside this, whatever the lesser than this or whatever the more than this, that whole considered as like an outlier, and we are deleting that. Okay, now let's see the filtered data. Let me run this. Okay, now if you see, we don't have the last value. Let me show you my above data where we will get the idea. See, this is the last value. Why this is considered as like an outlier is, now if you see, this is the let me show you at the top, as that is bit more clear data. Over here if you see, why this record has been considered as like an outlier, because now if you see, all the data in the salary is nearly either is in thousands or 1 lakh, 3 lakhs, or else 1000, 40,000. But over here all of a sudden it has been increased to the 50 lakh. Okay, this is not at all near to this, so this is considered as like an outlier. Okay, now that this is the record which has been removed right now. Now this is the record. If you see, uh, this was the record. Okay, now that has been removed here. Okay, that record has been completely removed. Okay, now let's do the feature scaling. Feature scaling in the sense nothing but, now if you see the range, one value is in the 25,000, one value is in the 3, one value is 2. That means one value is too high and the one value is too low. So this is not in the proper range. So we have to bring this all the data in one single range. So for that we're gonna use the standard scaler. So for that, let's import the standard scaler. Let's copy this, paste here. Now let's add the standard scaler. Okay, let's call this. Okay, now let's convert our data. Okay, now let me take this authorization. Whatever the data which we have filtered, that I have placed inside this. Now we are converting that data. Now let's see, after converting this, all the data will come in a same range. Okay, now if you see, actually this is nothing but the salary column, this is nothing but the role column, this is nothing but the employee works. But if you see that the whole range is in the same range. Okay, now let's see in a proper way. By that I'll show you that in a proper way. Okay, let me take this auto suggestion. Now what exactly we are doing is, whatever the thing which we did, that I have placed over here, and I'm taking the column names, whatever the column names which we do have over here, salary, role, employee marks, that I'm taking with the help of this code. Filtered data is nothing but this one which we have filtered, right? From there it is picking up. Now see the let's see the all the records. Now see, these all the things are in the same range. Okay, this is how you can do the feature scaling. After this you can directly start your algorithm related training. Okay, now one more thing as well I would like to mention as like an add-on point. Okay, right now what we have done over here, like we have taken the average. What we did to fill this null value, what we did over here, we have taken the average and we have added that average. Now just assume this is the related to the some kind of type, something like this, like 314. Okay, now instead of the average, what you can do is, like for the categorical values, what you can do is you can add mode. You can add code something like this, mode. Okay, something like this. Okay, then what this will do is, like whatever the type which has been repeated for the more times, okay, that will get replaced with the inside of this nan. Okay, whatever the type which has been repeated for more times, that will be replaced in the nan. Okay, this is just an add-on point. I hope you have understood this whole data cleaning video. In case if you have liked, please do like and subscribe my channel. Thank you for watching this video.